lot of us reach a point where the career that we're in no longer matches like the calling that we feel. And if you're in that space right now, trying to grow your photo and video business, but feel pulled in a different direction, trust me, this video is just for you. I've lived that tension before, and I sat down with the Me and You podcast and shared the exact moment everything shifted for me. Like, if you're looking for clarity or just confirmation that you're not crazy for wanting more, this conversation is just for you. Let's get into it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Me and You show. Today we have a special guest. His name is Jason Lapointe. Now, everybody, I want you to be aware, this gentleman actually has multi-talented fields that he has for his expertise in his business. I'm going to let him introduce himself and
Yes,
then
sir.
we'll get started. All right, Mr.
Hey
Lapointe.
guys, how's it going? My name is Jason. Yes, I'm sorry, I jumped in really fast. My name is Jason, or J.August, as you guys may know me online. I am a digital entrepreneur here in the Atlanta area and owner of J.August Media. I am a wedding photographer, videographer, and also a content photographer and videographer. I do run a small media agency here called J.August Media, where I'm flying out of town into different states, out of the country as well, just producing content for different clients. And the clients range anywhere from really big brands, as far as like the Atlanta Falcons and Ryan Companies, this major corporation as far as like construction, down to little mom and pops, businesses out here in the Atlanta area and also like in St. Louis and Washington, D.C. So I just have the opportunity to create content, and I think it's pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So what took you into this field? Did you start out in school, like you maybe like a high school class in this business field, or did you start it in college, or was it more of just like your own personal hobby?
Wow, that's a great question. So it was actually just personal. I my college degree has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing now. My degree is in psychology. But before I started with cameras and such like that, I dabbled into it. You know, growing up, I was always a fan of like playing Super Nintendo, but playing Mario Paint. And I tell my kids this all the time. I used to play Mario Paint, and I used to like zoom in and get all the little dots figured out as far as like shading and stuff like that. You probably remember, and had the little
Hmm.
mouse pad and such. So I always had like a creative background. But when my son was born, one thing in my past that I didn't have, I was like the youngest of four. Again, I'm the youngest one, but what I noticed growing up, like all my friends had photos. They had photos. Like every time I went to their house, there was all these photos, but I was like the last one. So I had like few photos compared to like my brothers. And when my kid was born, I said, "Hey," I told my wife, I said, I want to make sure this kid have a ton of photos. Like we went on vacations and such, and we took photos and we printed them out, and they were all around the house. People always said like, you take really great photos. But it was like whatever, we just print them out because we just need some decoration. But when he was born, I said I want to make sure that he always has some type of photo to look back on, or if a teacher asks him for, "Hey, I need a picture of you when you're 5, you're 10, and you're 15," he can actually produce that because,
Yeah.
I took it and it's on a hard drive and such. So that's what prompted it. Then after that, once I started taking some photos, and the photos were horrible. I mean, I was taking photos of like running water, like out the faucet to try to freeze it. It was insane. I was taking pictures of birds, and I can't barely catch them when they were flying, but at repetition. But what really like catapulted me really getting into like the paid work, my wife's coworker, photographer, canceled on them like literally a week before the wedding because they got a higher paying gig, and it was a friend of theirs. They said, "Hey,
Wow.
um this guy is paying me 5 grand to do this. It's at a winery. They're coming in by helicopter. I understand. I told you I was going to do it, but I can't do it." So she said, "Well, you have a camera, you do it." And I'm like, I just shot a wedding. What is this? So eventually I did it, and I recruited one of my buddies that we grew up with, and he rented a camera. Or actually, no, he borrowed a camera from somebody. I found somebody that had one and said, "Hey, can we just borrow your camera for the day?" So we both did it, and we were like halfway through. I was like, "Well, this is not so bad." It's kind of different because I'm not posing people. I'm not shooting water or birds. I can actually predict what's going to happen because I'm married, so I've been to weddings. Like I know what's going to happen next, and I know how I would want it to look, especially from the bride's end and the groom's end. I'm thinking about, okay, how is it gonna look later on when they're thumbing through these images online? What if I was them, what would I want to see? And that's when it started flowing from there. And that's how the paid work started, just in literally in weddings. That's how it started.
Wow. So you really got tossed into the deep end on that one.
Yes. And it was my wife. She was like, "No, you could do it." She called the lady, and I'm on the phone with her. She's like, she's not even asking me questions that you would think, like, if you're hiring a photographer. She was just like, "Hey, so we're gonna have a cake," and I'm like, I know you're gonna have a cake, but where are you getting ready? Like, how many people in your bridal party?" And she was like, "Oh, that's a good question." It's like, oh God, this is about to be a nightmare. But again, we showed up and we made sure we made it work for her. So yeah, I was definitely thrown in and decided to swim. I had no choice, actually.
So your psychology degree, where's the actual specified within psychology? What was the main key components that you learned from there?
Oh, so this is good. I know I mentioned earlier that it has nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but it actually does. I want to
Hmm.
take that back because you're actually dealing with a lot of personalities, especially with brands. So the larger the brand, I'm noticing it's really not the name, it's just really just the people
Yep.
involved in that brand. So you may have a brand manager or a marketing manager or a marketing executive that you're dealing with, and their personality may be way left compared to what the brand's personality is, but their job is just to make sure we're on this path completely. Let's make sure that we're down this narrow path. We can't go left, we can't go right. It's not in the guidelines, that has to work. So I've noticed, like, different personality types is just how I adapt. So if I notice like it's a type A, I'm noticing like, look, they are all about the book. Then I have to cater my approach to, hey, I got it. These are the objectives. We're gonna meet this, and this, and don't give them anything else. Don't say anything else. Don't get into the creative side. Just say, if you want A, B, and C done, we're gonna get A, B, and C done. That's it. That's it. So I've noticed that. So psychology did help me out with like going through like the DSM and learning different personality types and all kind of stuff like that. So it definitely works every single day inside here. And I would definitely say it works for the wedding game as well, because you have so many emotions flying through and you just like it's like it really feels like a textbook. You're like, okay, we're gonna go through this right now, and we're gonna go start to this right now, and then we're gonna go to a point where they're super happy, and there may be a point in this wedding where they may crash. So you're just looking at all these different things as if they happen, but at the end of it, it all works out. So
So I have done pictures for one wedding. Well, actually,
oh
no, two
yes.
actually. The first one was very, like, very, very low budget, and I'm not gonna lie, I honestly forgot that I was doing pictures for them at one point because they were trying to involve me like hanging out with them and eating with them, and I was like, I can't.
Oh
I'm capturing
man.
your moments. And they're like, "No, it's fine. We've gotten to the point where we've made enough memories. It's like just enjoy, have fun." Because I was also friends with a family friend of theirs, and that's how they asked me to do pictures for
Mhm.
them because I was doing pictures for a softball tournament for them. So it's just who you meet,
Nice.
and they like the pictures, and then they're like, "Hey, you need to do my cousin's wedding," and I was like, "Uh, I've never done a wedding before," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, I haven't." It's like, and at the same time, I don't know if I can. And they're like, "Well, your pictures are super candid," and that's what I've noticed is like, at least for me, I take
Mhm.
very candid pictures. I try to find the moments within the moments. And then the one thing I really look for
Yeah.
is their eyes. It's like the second that I captured
Mm.
the husband looking at his wife, and it's like the wateriness in the eyes and the focus and the dedication. And then they saw the picture, they're like, oh my God. And then vice versa. I just flip to the other side, take the picture of the wife. It's like same thing. And I'm like, now you guys have both of your perspectives and you can see the love behind each other's eyes for each other. And that's what I look for in the candid moments.
Yeah.
And they were like, "How'd you see that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." It's just like it's just like I just see it. That's all I put to them. And I'm like, any pictures that I take, it's like I'm very critical too. I literally deleted like well over
Mm.
70, 80 pictures because I'm like, nope, it doesn't have this. Nope, it doesn't have this. Like I'll just go down my checklist, and they were like, "Why are you deleting
Uh-huh.
so many?" I'm like, "Well, one, some of them were overexposed. And so some of them are test pictures.
Hmm.
And then after the test pictures were done, I look at every feature of your body. I look at every feature of your body movement. And then I try to see, did I have any blurry moments? Did I have any like facial features where one eye is like this and then the mouth is moving? Like, did I capture you in a beautiful moment, or did I capture you where, you might not like that picture and I don't like it either?
Yep. I love that. So that man, that's so true. And I get that a lot because some people like, no, I don't understand. Like, it seemed like you guys were here all day and these images that we got back, they're amazing, but why are they I don't want to say how they're this much versus that much because you guys been here all day, 8 hours and two photographers. How is it only, X amount of photos? I'm like, well, you have to remember, and this is one thing I say as well. It's not about the quantity, it's the quality
Yep.
of the images that you have. It's what's really telling the story. Like I could sit here and take 20 or 30 different images of you in this dress right now in this one pose, but it's only going to be one that you actually need because if I give you 10, it's literally going to be like overwhelming to the point it was like I don't even know which one because it's like you're moving like this, like
Yeah.
which one do I print? So it's I always explain to them it's our job to curate the images that you're getting. Like we have to like that's why sometimes it may take so long. People like, well, I don't understand. There's AI and such. I'm like, AI is amazing, but you still
But
need an eye. You still need the eye. You still need it. So I love the fact that you mentioned that. It's like, no, man, I deleted 70 images. Like, oh my God, I can tell you how many images that we never let the client see because it doesn't make any sense. It
yep.
doesn't. I do remember this though. I remember when I first started, oh gosh, I would go to a client at the end and I say, man, we got 5,000 images of you guys. This is going to be amazing. And they look at me, they say, wow, you guys took so many images. And I'm like, yeah. And then I made the one mistake. And I will never forget, I delivered out like 3,000 images for a wedding. And they were thumbing through and they said, this is good, but
but
what are we going to do with all these? Yeah. Like they were like, we're never gonna look at this again. Like, what are we gonna do with these? And it was that, and I started learning because the feedback came back is like they don't want a ton of images. They just want to make sure like they can relive the day. And if they want to do it multiple times in one day, like say for instance, I want to pull up my gallery and go through my images twice today. It's not gonna take them 6 hours to do it. It's gonna be like, oh my God, I was able to hit the high points. I had somebody sit with me. They're not getting bored at the side of me, and they could tell exactly how my day was just based off these images that you produced and you delivered out. So that's just one of the things, man. It's like you won't know until like you're in the process of
yep.
doing it. And that's also like a red flag too. Like if there are any wedding photographers out here that's starting off, that's listening, is if you have a client that jumps in and say, how many images am I gonna get?
Red flag.
Avoid that. Because it's not, yeah, they're not really thinking about you and the quality that you produce. They're just thinking about how much is this going to cost, and if I'm paying you this amount, I better have so much. It's just like a barrier or some small amount of trauma that they may have had earlier to where they're comparing the cost of something based off the output that they should receive. I should receive so much because it costs so much rather than saying this is high because what I'm going to get, it's gonna be like something super curated, from that point. So, yeah, just one of the red flags I wanted to make
Oh yeah.
sure I point out.
One thing I learned after the second wedding is, I
Mhm.
don't know if you're familiar with like the apps where people can connect and like they take pictures on their phone and it automatically
Oh
drops
yeah, I've heard
into
of
a
those.
like a little cloud. So for
Uh-huh.
people that do want that quantity amount, I've noticed that it's like you can shift them over to be like, me, I'm focused on you guys. It's like that's the main key component.
Mm,
It's like, because again, you're paying me to take your moments, not your family moments, not your
mhm.
friend moments, but your moments. If your family's involved with you
Yeah.
and I get a picture of y'all together, boom, that's your moment. But I'm not going to go and look for them and take pictures of them in the environment. It's like that's for them to do on their own terms, and that's where you can get that
It's so
quantity that they
good.
want, and be like, hey, it's like, you know what, we have this app that we use. Is like the family gets involved, and it's like we all know that family takes, memorable pictures, and it's more personal to them, and so then it gives them that satisfaction of the numbers that they're looking for, but where is it coming from as well. So it's like it's a best of both worlds, and
Mm,
you kind of shut down that trauma, you kind of shut down that mentality, and you set a new expectation by still satisfying what they want, but without adding more work to yourself. That's the biggest thing because I'm like
yes.
I don't want to overwork myself while I'm already thinking a million different things to make sure I do good and justice by your one and only moment, hopefully. But it's
I
like
know. You're so right there, man.
I
I
love wedding
totally agree.
photography, but it's like the psychology behind it. It definitely it puts you through the ringer.
It does. It does. Well, you got to think about it too. There was a post, and I think I posted it too. You're more than one photographer on a wedding. You're a product photographer. You're a property or real estate photographer. You're a portrait photographer. You're an event photographer as well. Like you're all of this. And also don't forget you like your family a family portrait photographer as
Yep.
well. So I mean, even though I said portrait, but the family side when everybody gets together, that's a whole nother ball game.
Hmm.
Bride and groom is cool, but once the family and the kids get involved, you're like, okay, I gotta route everybody up
Yep.
right now. So there's like 5 different hats that you're wearing within an 8 hour period, or depending on how long that you're gonna be out there. And a lot of people don't understand that. So I was like, that's why it costs so much,
And you're an
that's why it
event
costs.
planner too. You can't forget that because you start
Yes.
having to direct people and tell
Yes.
them what to do. It's like you wear at least a minimum of 10 hats when you're a wedding photographer. Minimum.
That is so true. Yeah. I totally forgot about that part. I one thing I love now is working with really great planners. Because they make my job so much easier. And like when the team's out there, we already know who we're looking for. We're not looking for anybody else. They're running the timeline. If it's behind, the bride and groom will never know that it's behind. It's just running like a oiled machine, and I love it. Now, there's certain planners that I've worked with from before. I will never say any names, but they sometimes they may bite off a little bit more than they could chew, and like the wedding is massive and the planner's nowhere to be found. I've had that happen, but the really good ones, oh my gosh, it's like I always tell the bride and groom, like when I learn of the planner that they're using and they're really good, I say you don't understand how much you just made the quality of your images like go up as a result of a good planner, because at that point we can really just like focus in on really intentional shots as far as like the portraits and such, and also just the shots that we're gonna get at the reception, because there's nobody that's stressed. I mean, everybody's like they're well fed. If
Hmm.
it's an open bar, they already got some drinks, and the DJ's on point. The DJs know what's going on, so the images come out so much better. It's like a win-win. And I'm not a planner, but it's like, oh gosh, like the ones that I have with really good planners, those are like the bangers, like that's on the website and such like that, because the planners are there. They helped us out.
Yeah, they take away essentially w- they take away where you would have to put effort and allow you to put more effort into what
Mhm.
you actually need to focus on. I haven't had the opportunity
Boom.
to work somewhere where there is an event planner that deals with everything. I've essentially had to step in as a role of an event planner. I even helped decorate the cake for the second wedding that I did pictures for.
Oh,
I kid you not. I
are
helped
you
them set it up.
serious?
Helped them set it up. They showed me what decorations they had, and I decorated the cake from bottom to top. It's like they showed me that they had some
Oh
fake
my
leaves,
gosh.
and I was like, "Do you guys care if I implement the fake leaves into the cake?" And so what I did is I made it spiral around the
No.
cake and lead up towards like the path, and then the names are shifted in the middle at an angle so that anytime somebody walks by, as they're walking by, the name is at an angle so they can read the name. And it's like
Oh, that's so good.
and I put like little pearls and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's like, and they're like, you know how to decorate. You should be a person that does decorations. I'm like, no, this is me making sure I do justice by y'all because I feel bad that your cake wasn't decorated. And at the same time, if I'm gonna take pictures
Yeah.
of it, I want it to look good.
Wow, that is dude, that's amazing. You got a leg up on me. I cannot decorate a cake. Even if I wanted to try, they were like, "What is that?" It was like,
I
"I don't know. I'm just trying to help out here."
I tell them is you got to be thinking the big man upstairs because that's the only reason I have a creative mind. That's the only reason why sometimes things come to my mind at the drop of a dime is because the big man upstairs made me that way. Other than that, it's like I don't think I would be able to do any of these type of things.
Oh man. It's so crazy. Like no, I'm really glad you said that too. I was asked that question from before. It was a creative brief that I had, and I thought I was going into it one way. I thought I researched everything, and they threw a curveball right as we got on the phone. And I'm like, I'm just rattling off answers. And after I got off the line, I was talking to my wife. I was like, look, that was not me. That was all God. Because there's no way humanly possible that I could have known all the things that they were asking and gave them the answers. They were like, we really like that plan. I'm like, you do? It's like,
It's like I
it's
just made that
like
up on the fly.
I never I just made it over literally. And again, it was one of the big ones too. And they were like, no, we love that. That is amazing. And I'm like, that's why you pray before going in, you know?
I have a question. What part of Atlanta are you based in?
I'm in the Atlanta area, so I'm really in Marietta. That's where my home base is. But Atlanta is the suburbs. We still call it Atlanta. So I'm about 20 minutes away from like the downtown area,
Okay.
or like maybe about 25 minutes away from there. But traveling around the state, especially like for weddings and also for a lot of corporate events, I'm finding myself an hour and a half away, an hour this way, an hour that way. It just all depends. There's nothing that's actually in Atlanta
Mhm.
sometimes that says it's Atlanta. It's really not. Yeah.
I have a weird question. Have you now? There's a popular pastor, or should I say, a popular church, and I'm sure you're familiar with it already. The 2819 Church.
I have never been there yet. My buddies have been there. My wife really wants to go. I have seen sermons online. I'm like, this it is that it is moving inside there. I haven't been there yet, but I do plan on visiting. Definitely do plan on visiting.
What I want to see you do, and this is a challenge, and it just came up.
Oh,
They
I'm
are
writing this down.
having a free event. Like think of the stadiums that used to happen for church events here in the states because there's not as many state like stadium events. Apparently, this I think it's the State Farm Arena. They're going to do a free event, a
Mm,
free prayer night and
mm,
worship night for people to show up. I would love to see you there
mm,
helping them capture moments because you have a
mm.
different perspective and at the same time within your field of marketing. And again, this is people are like, marketing, church marketing. I'm like, yeah, marketing those moments is actually a key component to being able to spread the gospel as well, which people don't realize.
Yes, sir.
Is like if you can make
Hmm.
it attractive in the sense of like what are you showing people, you're going to draw more hearts. Now, granted, there's a little bit of a foul play with what's happening in the world with marketing and connecting churches with businesses and stuff like that, but you understand
Hmm.
exactly where I'm coming from. You know that you
Yeah.
will give them authentically what you see and what they should feel when you capture those moments. And having somebody like you there that's your profession, that's your expertise, is like not only do you get to experience them, now you can possibly network with them for other bigger events as well, but it also gives you an opportunity to give back. I'm pretty sure you give back in other
Yeah.
ways already as is. And I'm pretty sure your wife would be mad about me telling you to do some work while you're at this event. But tell her to hold that conversation with the big man upstairs and then see what does she feel about that.
It's so true. But it's so funny, you mentioned that too. So my background as well, and fast forward in a couple of things, couple of businesses, was working at the church that I actually attend now. I was the media coordinator there. So exactly what you were talking about, the marketing aspect of showing and capturing the feeling to spread the gospel to where it's convicting hearts. That is in itself not everybody can see because they may think that okay, I'm supposed to when I go in, it's supposed to just be like this. But from the social media aspect of it, like seeing like someone worshiping, but it's not staged, it's like true candid, shooting through people, through heads to capture that one face. It's a different animal. And that was one thing that I did, like the photos and the videos as well. But I'm so glad you mentioned that because it brought me right back. A lot of people don't understand and unfortunately, a lot of churches don't understand that as well. They just may think that it's all about, hey, we're gonna plaster a PDF, like as far as like from Canva saying, hey, it's men's night Wednesday. forget to
Hmm.
come out. I was like, what about the feeling of what it is going to be? It's not just about the wording and a stock photo that you may get with some hands up. No, like what's the feeling that they're going to feel when they're there? Like what's a sermon or a cut from a sermon from the pastor when he was touching someone's heart there at the men's service? Like that's what they need. They want to feel that. They want to say, okay, before I go, does this make sense for me as well? It could be anything that he says that
Yep.
touches, that person's heart, to lead them towards that. But the other thing that I would say too is, as creators, and as creators that follow, or that are followers, I'm just going to put it that way. It is our obligation to use the creativity to lead people towards Christ. That literally what it is. So if you were given the talent, if you were given this gift, it is your God ordained gift. Like it's in you. If you don't use it to showcase or to lead people towards, because the easiest thing is, and this is with Mr. Maxwell. He said it. He used to always say, and I had the opportunity to see him speak, and he used to always say, people say, there's something different about you. Like, what is it? And
Hmm.
he was like, he used to always tell him, um, I'm not too sure if you're ready for that yet, but the next one I'll tell you. So they come out to another, a meeting or an event that he's at, because they may not even know he's a pastor. And he's like, Mr. Maxwell, just something different about you. Like, what is that? And that's, in essence, that's what is inside of us as well.
Yep.
So if I'm shooting something, they said, hey man, I don't know what it is, man, you're just different. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then by the next conversation, I was like, God gave me this talent. They're like, really? That's what it is? Like, yes, that's exactly what it is. So it's
Hmm.
like when the whole originality of you being authentic to who you are, you just got to be who he wants you to be. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. If you could just literally be like, I'm Jason from Queens, New York, living in Atlanta. That's who I am, and that's gonna lead people. That's literally gonna lead people to it. It's when I find that, and I'm not being who I am. That's when the headaches and the turmoil, and like just the things don't add up. So just going back to that, as creators, like followers, like if you have a talent and you're not using that, you are being wicked. Yeah, you're wicked at that point. That's what it is. You are wicked and you're not using your talent to lead people to him. So look at that. I see your doggy. There we go.
Yeah,
Mine just
he
sat
was
down.
knocking at the door, literally knocking. He's like, "Let me in," and I'm like, "I got you."
Oh man, like I know you're in there. I know you're in there. Sorry, I know what went off on a tangent, but you
No,
you
no,
you
you're good.
you totally brought that up. Yeah, you totally brought it out of me, man. Thank you.
That's the point of the show. It's to just be ourselves. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to be ashameful of. It's like if you got
No,
you
man.
got that spunk going, I'm gonna sit back and relax because that's the whole point. I want people to hear your story. I want people to understand who you are and what got you to where you are right now. It's like I may have a million
Appreciate it,
different
man.
stories, but at the same time, I'm not here to tell my story. It's like I'll share here and there, but
Mm,
I'm here to tell the stories of everybody else to help inspire others because I'm limited.
yeah.
I'm a singular man
Mm,
who can do X amount of things. And so I bring others that are doing other things that I may not be an
mhm.
expert in to help push people to explore these other expertise and fields because there's a million different things you can do in this world, a million different things.
Yeah.
And the only way normally to be able to find truly what your passion is by either A, seeing somebody do it, hearing somebody talk about it, or experiencing it. And
Mhm.
with the podcast, it's like my network, like for example, my network is your network. Whoever I know and meet, you have access to them, and vice
It's
versa.
amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping one day that the people that you meet, I may have access to them, but and it's more in a sense of like they understand who you are, and you talk to them, and you're like, you know what? It's like they might be a good guest on Kalua's show, and then you'd be like, hey Kalua, it's like I want you to interview this person. I'm sending them over to you. It's like, and now the biggest thing that people worry about and I worry about as well, they're like, what if celebrities come and talk to you? And I'm like, well, celebrity is a title. I've met
Hmm.
a famous person. I've met a couple
Yeah.
famous people before. And one thing that I've learned is that if you respect their privacy and you respect them as a person, 99% of the time you will learn so much from them that you wouldn't expect to learn. For example,
Yeah.
you recently posted a post about a celebrity that you had taken pictures of. Now, I'm not going to
Hmm.
name drop them because of respect to privacy. And not only that, People, as soon as you name drop somebody, 90% of the time people will want to use that way to access that person, and they'll bombard you saying, "Hey,"
Yeah.
and it I get it. I understand it. If you're a fan of somebody, you want to meet them any way, shape, or form possible. But don't let that ruin the relationship between you and the person that got the opportunity to meet
Yeah.
XYZ person. It's like, because that was
Hmm.
professional. It wasn't personal, it was professional. And you
Yep.
don't
Hmm.
if you don't respect that boundary, at that point it's like you could potentially ruin that person's career.
Yeah, it's so true. And the other thing too is when had you mentioned as far as like the respecting the boundaries and the privacy of certain celebrities, it's so true because I it's funny after I posted that, I got so many calls and texts like, "Well, did you get this? Did you?" I was like, "No. Like, why would you do that?" It's like you can't fan out. It's like you can't be a fanboy. Like when you're the lead, like
That,
makes no sense. I would have said if you were like the second or third and you came out, you fanned out, and they threw you out, like, what was with it? No, I didn't fan out. It was really professional and stick to the point. But um, that also from the other eyes, and I mentioned this as well to a lot of people, especially when they're asking, "Hey, how did that happen?" or "How did you end up in that room with that person?" Is based off a lot of times when we're out taking photos or videos. Yes, we have a client, but there's other people, there's other
hmm
eyes on you. And I made another post as far as like saying, like, sometimes I may see photographers on their phone when nothing's going on, but they're on their phone, they're on a corner, they're sitting, they're behind, they're talking, they're doing all kind of different things. And I said, hey, if especially if you're at a big conference, it's not about there's nothing going on. Just look busy because there's so many people in the crowd that you may not even know that's been looking at you for the last hour
yep.
because maybe the person on stage is not who they're really concerned about right now. They don't want to see that person. They want to see the other person that's coming in later. Who's moving around the most? You are. So they're looking at exactly what are your mannerisms like? How is he communicating with different people if they say excuse me? How is he getting different shots? Is he staying in the same place? All these different things are running through their head because you're the only one that's moving. So if you're moving in a professional fashion, if you're polite to everyone, if you're pleasant when they come up to you and ask for a
Yep.
photo, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, "Hey, what's your information?" And that's exactly how most of the I don't even want to call them gigs. That's how most of the opportunities that I get. That's how they come about. It's we've seen you at this place and you work this wedding or you work this event. We've seen the final images. We already know what you could do. We checked out your website. We can see that we just like your personality and we like your team's personality. So that's one of the biggest things that I could stress to anyone in the media field, whether you're just starting off or even if you're a seasoned vet and you don't understand, like, I don't understand why I'm not getting any work. It's like sometimes you may have to just look at that part because people say you are amazing, but you are difficult to work with. So just avoid that in general. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for not not name dropping the person. But it was amazing though. I'm not gonna lie. Just being in the presence and seeing how how they move and how their team moves, it was on another level.
Yeah.
But it was on a respectful level. It wasn't so many horror stories that you may hear, and it's like it was nothing like that. It's nothing like that. We're like, hey, what is that? Slapping it out your hand. Give me that memory card. It was nothing like that. And you know exactly what I say when I give me the memory card. No, this is my memory card. You're
Yeah.
running away from it. Yeah, it was nothing like that. So
Now, were you at least able, given the opportunity, to do like a brief introduction to this person, or it was more of just like, hey, this is your assignment? It's like, and that was it.
yeah, that was it. With that particular individual, yes, it was they were in, they did the keynote and they were out. They had literally like 15 minutes after the keynote. So we were briefed by the project, like the event coordinator. They explained like, hey, as soon as this keynote is done, we just need people in place to make sure we grab all this stuff. It may be like 2 minutes they may have, but they have to catch a flight.
Oh, okay.
And that's understandable. So even with when I hear things like that, especially on the day of, like I'm thinking 14 steps ahead. Like, is my lighting already set up? My camera settings already in? they don't have to wait on me. I'm just waiting on them. But a lot of times I may notice that, people are just kind of like winging it and say, okay, well, yeah, you said 10 minutes, we got five. Like, no, it was an hour before he even showed up that everything was already set up because what if he arrives early? What if he ends his keynote early? For them waiting on you, it's like that's the worst thing that you could possibly
Yep.
have. So in this case here, yeah, it was literally in the green room, out the green room, on stage, 15 minutes up there to photograph 50 different people or 50 different combinations, or I think it was actually more, and got 2 minutes to present something, that person's out. So um yeah. The other people inside there, I was able to introduce myself and kind of hear a little bit about them, and that was cool as well. But you gotta respect the time.
Oh
You
yeah,
definitely gotta respect the time.
and that's one thing that I like. Are you familiar with the band Linkin Park?
Yes. Oh my
Okay.
god, yes. Yes.
So I always ask it that way, and people are like, "That is blasphemy that you ask people if they know them." I'm like, "No, it's like it's a genuine
You never
question."
know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of people in music that I don't know, and so forth, and so I expect the same for everybody else. So I got the opportunity, and I
Mm.
can name drop this one just because it's like it's the past, but this was back when I was in middle school. I met Chester Bennington, the lead singer that passed away
Mm.
on us,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So when I met him, it was actually he was at the same hotel that we were staying at. And I met his family, I
Wow.
met him. But here's the funny part. I was already full size at the time when I met him, like height wise. So his security guard was
Mm.
ready to throw me into the pool. And he grabbed his
Oh.
security and told him, "No, that's a kid. You can't put your hands on him." And I didn't run up to him. I was literally just walking up to him. And I was just saying, "Hey,
Mm.
Mr. Chester, could I please get a picture with you?" And then it's like I got the picture with him, and I had I always tell people I had a Jufro. I had really curly hair at the time. It was like poofy, and so
Uh,
that was my first ever. I want to say, yeah, my technically my first true celebrity moment of meeting somebody that I enjoyed their music and I enjoyed who they were, and I got one of the greatest
mm.
experiences from it because of how humble and his just his presence, like he was very welcoming. He didn't have a single like irritation in him, nothing. And the thing is that I felt bad too though because I kind of encouraged for more people to approach him to go take more pictures.
Oh,
And so I
yeah.
was like, and so it's
Mm.
stuck with me ever since. That is like, if I ever see a celebrity again, I want to see what the environment is. What is the situation like? Because he was on vacation,
Mm.
but I was a kid, so I didn't
Mm.
really truly understand that. As an adult now, I start reflecting on some of these things. And granted, is like he may have been like, "Oh, as a kid, it's fine," but if it was an adult, he probably been like,
Mhm.
"I wish I would have left alone." But got to hang out with his kids for a little bit. His kids, they offered for me to go in the RV that they were traveling in to see everything, and I'm like, I have to ask my mom for permission,
Mm.
and my mom was nowhere to be found, so I didn't get to go in the RV. And they were like, "Oh, okay." It's
Oh,
like
man.
they thought it was lame because of that, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, I gotta listen to my parent.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine you end up in an RV and your mom comes pounding on the door? The embarrassment there. It's like, you didn't ask your mom? It's like,
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
but
Yeah.
shout out to mom. She actually ended up buying me tickets for that event, for the concert that they were there for. And
Wow.
so that was my first concert. Met my one of my first fan moment where I was just best way to put it, fangirling if we want to make a joke out of it. But I was like literally like, oh my god! And so I remember that we were in the lawn, which is fine. I didn't care about it because the music is so loud, anyways. It's like you don't want to be up close and be deaf.
Yeah.
But
That's so
one of
true.
my key childhood moments to where I learned a lot about what a celebrity is, and also at the same time, Gwen Stefani was also at the beach at the same time, and the only reason I knew that is because she
Mm.
was across the street and people were trying to bombard, trying to get pictures with her while she's trying to go into a restaurant, and her security was huge. Like
Wow.
we're talking about like four big grizzly dudes. Like I was like, yeah, we ain't getting nowhere near that.
Like, not today.
Nah, not today. And so
Wow.
I would say that it's like any opportunity that I see now with any celebrities, and just to kind of rein it in, I actually will be interviewing a tribute band of Linkin Park, um, pretty soon
Oh,
in a
that's
month
so
or two, I
cool,
believe.
man.
I think in a month. And
Uh,
so that's the reason why I brought them up. I'm gonna get the opportunity to interview a tribute band. Typically, tribute bands is like people are like, well, isn't that for people that are like, retired or dead? And I'm like, well, technically, Linkin Park isn't the same anymore. It's like it's a little different. It's still
Mhm,
Linkin Park, but it's no longer the same. I respect them for continuing the brand and continuing the
mhm.
message that they have, but it definitely to all the key fans so far that have been listeners since they were what in the 90s, the people
Mhm.
have made their opinion saying that it's like it's no longer the same ever since Chester
Yeah.
passed, which is again, it's a very big shoe to fill. And nobody and I kept
Mm,
saying I don't think nobody will ever fill that shoe. And so that expectation I made sure didn't exist. So it's like with the new singer, I believe her name is Emily Armstrong. It's like I don't have any issues with
mm,
her singing. It's like I actually enjoy that she's adding a different flavor to the actual genre and to the band itself. So
mm.
maybe one day I'll get to ask them some deeper questions because I got the opportunity to meet Chester and I have a form of relation with them and just kind of touch base on what truly happened. And it's like so that because things happen in bands nowadays, and so I want to be
Yeah.
able to use their story to tell other bands it's okay if something like this happens. This is what they did to push through these
Mhm.
moments. So that is a way to help inspire or at least help somebody get through the hardships that happen. Because I believe that even the hardships in
Yeah.
life, we should still be able to tell those stories to be able to help someone else get through
Mhm.
it. If we reserve it, then
Yeah.
at that point we're not giving people the tools to be able to get through a hard situation.
And to piggyback off of that, basically, honestly, what it is, it's literally your testimony, because not everything is going to be, bright, hunky dory, glitter on the walls. It's never going to be that way. It's always going to be like, just showing the process through the struggle, because it may be one thing that you did halfway through that struggle that may be a pivotal point to so many people who are watching you on the journey. It's insane. That's one of the things that I always try to mention, like, ending any YouTube video or anything that I'm telling people is like, if you're in a business to do business, you have to show people that you're in a business to do business. And that would be some failures. That would be, man, I really messed this up. I was able to turn it around, but I messed it up. Here's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because how many other people may have messed it up? Or how many people are you saving from going down that same route by just explaining, like, this happened to me. I'm still here, still alive. By the way, it didn't take me out. It could have, but it didn't. That's why I think um a lot of people, and I hate to say this, like some people, like, when they say, like, you watch a video, you see it's a train wreck, but you watch it anyway. I think it's like something inside of us, like, I need to turn my head from this, but I still have to realize this is a video. It was posted. So maybe there's some good at the end of it. Maybe the person's may not hurt. Maybe they're still here, but maybe they could just live to tell the story about it. Or you may watch videos about, people building something, like, how I made it on CNBC, and like, I was homeless at this point, but then it was this one person that talked to me inside my life, and they told me X, Y, and Z, and I took what they said and was able to, produce it into this. It's not just saying like, "Hey, I made it, and this is what I'm doing now."
Yep.
No, we want to hear your struggle. We want to hear the journey. We want to hear your testimony of what made you get out of that. So yeah, I,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you there. Definitely agree.
That's I love the raw nitty gritty. I don't like people that stay scripted. Hence the reason why I say there's no script on the show. I want you to treat it like you're at a bar having a
Yes, yes.
conversation with somebody or at a coffee shop, because not everybody drinks, and then not everybody drinks coffee.
I don't know about the coffee. Listen, coffee's so good. I'm stop. So
Honestly,
good, so
hey,
good.
I'm
But
guilty on this one. I actually don't drink coffee. It's like, and
really,
people ask me, they're like, "How do you survive?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I just don't like the smell of it. It's the same thing with like peanut
oh
butter. I cannot
wow,
stand the smell of peanut butter. I will run the other direction.
really? It's not that you're allergic to it. You just don't like the smell.
Honestly, I don't like so peanut butter. I despise the smell so much that I'm not gonna lie about this. I used to lie all the time and say I was allergic. Flat out at my military
Wow.
school, I told them that I was allergic to it, so it was on my records that I was allergic to.
So keep that away from me. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
Hmm.
Wow. that's the first time I've heard that. That's by far the first time I've heard that. Even the coffee smell, like people like walk in, he's like, it smells so good. It's
And
like,
no, I don't like the smell of
but
coffee.
no,
Now,
wow.
I will eat coffee ice cream though. I know that's weird, but I will eat
Hmm.
coffee ice cream. Other than that, I don't touch anything coffee related. Maybe coffee bread on occasion, but they've changed how coffee made is made for like what they sell at Walmart and stuff like that. So I'll eat coffee bread
Hmm.
made by an actual legitimate baker that has their own signature taste, where it tastes
Oh.
more authentically good. I don't touch the ones that are sold in the stores anymore because it doesn't taste the same. Like when I was a kid, I remember what it tastes like, and I was like, oh, this is good. And then it's like nowadays, I'm like, it ain't it.
Mass produced.
Yeah, I'm very
All,
critical
all
when
this-
it comes to stuff like that.
wow. So you said coffee ice cream. I'm just curious, what brand? What
Um,
brand is your favorite?
I don't have a favorite brand.
No?
What I
Okay.
started out with was Buyers, but there's this it's an ice cream that comes in a pint size, and I don't think it's
Hmm.
ice cream. I think it's the healthier version where it's like a sorbet almost. But I think it's called Halo Cup.
Oh.
I think it's called Halo, or
Oh, I know.
it's
I
like a
know
small
exactly
little
what you're
pint.
talking about.
So I like
Yeah.
theirs. And but the weird thing is
Yeah.
though, I think I'm allergic to something they put in their product because when I was eating the ice
Mm,
cream, I felt it burn my tongue, which is weird. It's either it was too cold, I was
mm,
getting freezer burn on my tongue, or I'm like
mhm,
allergic because it felt spicy as well. So I'm like, I think I'm allergic to something in that. But that
mm.
was my
I
favorite.
do know that. No, 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 no. That's cool because that's the keto version of like the ice cream. My wife was doing it at one point, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know it. Is it monk fruit or stevia that they use because it's a plant based
Yep.
sweetener that they use for that. So I don't know if that may be it. I couldn't tell you, but
I'll
that could
find
be
out
an
one day.
explanation why. Yeah, I know. Like no time soon. Like I'm not eating that stuff again.
Oh, and I'm gonna keep eating it, even
Wow,
if I'm
that's
allergic
cool.
to it. As long as it's not putting me in the hospital, I'll eat it. I take my chances.
I'll take the chances, right?
Yeah, it's like I used to work
Well,
at an ear, nose, and throat doctor's office, and we had an allergy department there. So I was like, I have access to an EpiPen. I'll be fine.
that's so crazy. It's like the backup just in case, like, you
Yeah.
know what? I like the way this tastes. I'll be okay.
So
Like that, man.
outside of photography, going back to your degree in
Yep.
psychology, did you actually
Mhm.
explore any careers in psychology, or was just strictly like you went to school, got it done, and then you were working a 9 to 5 in a completely different field?
Well, yeah, all right. So that was the plan. The plan was to because even throughout college, I had like work study jobs, and one of them was with America Reads, and that's when I was able to go in different elementary schools and just read to kids, and just pull them out of class and just have like one on one with kids that have autism and different learning disabilities, and that was great. So when I graduated from college, I had all intentions. I was like, I'm going to continue on. It was to be a marriage and family therapist. That's where I was going. I had my sights set on it. Had all my papers and everything like that saved on my at that point it was a 3.5 drive. That's what it was because I graduated. I'm aging myself, so everything was saved on there. All my papers were there. I didn't have a thumb drive. It was actually a that little drive. And I said, hey, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna take a year off and I'm gonna get some work experience and I'm gonna go back, pursue my master's and eventually, my doctorate and such like that, my PhD. And and I completely screwed up, lost the disc, so I had no papers or anything like that that I could pull. And now I'm learning of it. It really didn't matter. I could probably did it anyway, but that was my excuse. Honestly, it was the excuse. I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I lost everything. I don't have anything as far as backing it up. The work that I've done, the things that I could show when I'm putting on my application, moving towards a master's and such." So I ended up started working, and then kind of went into the gamut of the 9 to 5 and never went back. And then one thing led to another. And then I had a complete, I wouldn't say it's a complete, I had a really fast career in corporate claims where I was in insurance. So I was like in catastrophic claims, auto accidents, homeowner premise liability, all kind of stuff. So my team was the one that when you see attorneys saying, okay, the insurance company did this, it was usually with my department because it was like the ones that were killed in accidents, that I was supervising teams of that. So that's what I was dealing with until it got to the point I was like, this is like this taxing because you argue all day, your team argues all day, you're watching out for different things that attorneys may do to slip insurance companies up. And I mean, it's if you look at it, it's a business model on both ends, but it's different things that they may slip in if you don't answer things a certain way. Is that it's on your conscience because if you don't answer it at 5:05 p.m. on this specific date, this not extracurricular, but extra contractual that the insurance company has to pay, and that lands on your head. It's your team. So think different things like that would kind of got stressful, and that's when right around the time when the photography was picking up and the videography actually started picking up. I was like,
It's time
I'm
to say
gonna
bon
try this thing
voyage.
out. It's time to go. It's time to go. So again, it was a great, and that's why, and actually never ended up, coming to pass where I was like, I'm in this field now. But it's crazy when I'm working with like psychiatrists now and hearing their horror stories too. I'm like, dang, did I dodge a bullet? Because like, I mean, that's hard. That is hard. And they having to like completely decompress about the things that they're dealing with daily and helping people with, that's hard.
Yep.
That's hard where it's, that person's kind of like hanging on your words at that point, So I don't know. You're called to do different things. I was like, I think I stumbled out and stumbled in right into where I was supposed to be. He probably was
Yep.
like, hey, work for a little bit. We'll get you in this way, So
All right, so we're getting to the last
wow.
bit. So what I like to do during this time frame is where you get to share or give shout outs to whoever or share some fun facts or at least a piece of wisdom that you want to give to the listeners. So this opportunity, actually the
Ooh.
floor is yours actually for this segment.
Wow, this is good. So the biggest thing I would say for, and you kind of mentioned a little bit earlier when you were saying if people who doubt themselves, you just always have to remember, especially if I want to just say the media field, and when I mean media, I just want to define it as you are a content creator that you do photo or video. You may do it for yourself, or you may do it for different people, organizations, whatever the case may be. That's what I mean media. I'm not talking about news and such. So if you ever doubt yourself, you always have to remember there's always somebody that's going to be 1 to 3 steps behind you. And I'm not trying to like put anybody on a hierarchy saying like I'm better than you. I'm not saying that. That you just may be 3 steps in front of somebody that is going through exactly or going through the same path that you may be going through. So what you've done in those 3 steps prior is like I mentioned it earlier, is the pivotal point for someone right now. So what does that mean? That means you posting your journey online, you posting your daily routine if you're editing photos, if you're editing a video, the tools that you use. It's not you're not gatekeeping and you're not giving out your what makes you you. You're not doing that. You're just giving out information that's going to potentially help somebody else. The other thing that I would say, if you are in a business, meaning that you have a business and that business is driven by clients, driven by sales. If you are not posting your stuff online, it is literally the same thing of saying that I don't trust myself and no one else should trust me. And I really don't have a business. I actually have a hobby. So if you're serious about it, if you're dead serious about it, this is what's bringing in income. This is keeping your lights on. This is what's paying your mortgage or paying your rent. If you do not post your stuff, meaning what it is that you do, and then I'm gonna go in a little bit further, it doesn't even have to be the end result. It just honestly just has to be you being the content, meaning you in the space, in the realm of whatever you do. So for instance, if I'm a photographer, there's a phone setup on the other side. And that phone setup on the other side is just capturing me being what? A photographer. And you don't understand how much that resonates with just with the person who's actually looking for you, with that company that's actually looking for you, with that organization, that whoever is looking for you. They just want to make sure that you are exactly who you are, that you say you are, and exactly what they need is you already provided this to us in the video or in the photo. So those are just like the biggest things, and it that has literally changed or completely changed the trajectory or like catapulted the business to what I have right now. It was when I just stopped worrying about everybody and what they thought about, oh my God, they're gonna see me taking photos. Like, and the client hired you to take photos. Like, what does it matter? Or if you're talking, doing a talking head video and you're giving game about the thing that you just learned, you may think that it's something small, or you may think that everybody knows, but you will be surprised how many people do not know. Like, this one thing on the phone is what you actually need to film a video podcast. You only need your phone. You actually don't really need anything else. Or, hey, this is how you tweak your audio. Everybody knows that. No, they don't. It's your area of expertise. So that is the one thing that I would just like to leave for creatives right now. Like, stop thinking that it's in your head, so it's in everybody's head. It is not. It is not. And if, again, if you not putting it out there, nobody's really gonna know. Like, this is not what a yellow pages still exists. It doesn't exist anymore. It's like, I'm gonna open this page. The photographer is going down the line. He looks like he's close to my address. Let's call him. Oh, it's gonna be the ones that always popping up. And if you don't need them, they're gonna remember you later. Like, I remember this a photographer in Marietta. He seemed cool. I don't need anything photographer now. But man, I saw him again. Man, I saw him again. He just saved his information. And then they call. That's exactly how it works. So hopefully that made sense. I know I have a tendency to like go all the way
No,
around,
it's
but
all good,
hopefully
brother.
it hits someone. Yeah.
And then any shout outs to whether businesses, friends, that's that's the luxury at this part. And then we'll include their links in the bio in the
Wow.
section. Yeah.
Oh man, it's this too many. There's too many. I would say one that I have to shout him out because my wife and I, we secret shopped him, and I told him this story before in other podcasts that are what I told the story. When we really got serious about like doing weddings, we hit a bridal show up, and this gentleman, Ton Henderson Photography, Ton Henderson, a really good friend of mine now. He's in the same realm that I am. He's a photographer as well, wedding photographer. He doesn't do much corporate, but he's in the wedding photography field. But we secret shopped him. My wife and I act like we were just getting married, saw him at a booth at a bridal show, and start asking him questions. And he answered all the questions. And then the one thing that he said, when I was in that mindset of thinking, if I'm gonna charge that much, I got to give a amount of photos that you're gonna get. And that's why I mentioned that earlier. He said, I don't give a limit on photos. Like, what am I gonna do with your photos? He's like, what I edit, what I shoot, what I edit, I deliver to you. Why am I gonna put a cap on that? It doesn't make any sense. They're your photos. What I'm gonna do, print them out and build a clubhouse. I was like, that's so good. He was like, they're yours. Why should I put a limit on that? And that was ever since that I was like, I like this guy. He's really good. I like this guy. So I would shout him out, but also shout out someone in the government space that it's a good friend of mine now, and we were doing a ton of her video podcasts. We were filming it, and her name is Claudia Pilgrim with Capital Consulting. And I would say she's a really good person, meaning she's trying to do good in the world. She's a smart, savvy businesswoman, but her nonprofit that she's starting of trying to teach, African American girls how to fly airplanes and get them up to private pilot's license and such. Right now, so it's kind of on the back burner because she's doing a lot of other things. But I think that by far is like one of the biggest things. She saw a gap, she saw a need, and she went full force into it. So I would definitely shout her out. And then, of course, want to shout out my family, my wife, and everybody. And I appreciate this, man. I really do. I've never been asked who I wanted to shout out, so everybody's like popping in my head. But just from the business aspect, I would say those two. They're key. They were really key in my business for sure.
All right. Well, this is where we're going to say thank you, everybody. And we're going to thank you specifically, Jason, because you've given us actually a great interview and a lot of wisdom to pass down to the next generation of people that are listening. So
Awesome.
we're going to end today's
Appreciate it.
episode. This is where I say to everybody, stay safe and stay blessed. And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace out, guys.